Why are you two always fighting? Is the question I'd love to ask the two of them. Friend or foe may have shown us the falling out, but that's no reason to continue fighting. Here, have a bite of the other patty. Hey, here, look at this. But I need to kick it first. Let's turn on the grill because candles cannot do squawk here. Let's get into some FNAFoNFire.
Are ya ready?
If you haven't seen the episode already, go watch it before I spoil the plot, you dingus. What are you doing? If you've already seen it, skip the recap if you would like to. Or if you don't care to watch, feel free to watch the recap. I really don't care. You can do whatever the hell you want, man. I appreciate it if you watch the video, man. Go ahead, please. Alright, let's do this shit. After Mr. Krabs hilariously gets the upper hand against Plankton again.
Run along, little fella. Enjoy your Krabby Patty.
They start arguing. This concerns SpongeBob because they used to be best friends. When he asked why they can't be friends again, they respond in a very stubborn manner. When Mr. Krabs leaves, Plankton smells a delicious scent that immediately piques his interest.
That doesn't smell delicious.
No.
SpongeBob and Plankton find this new restaurant that came out of nowhere. When Plankton tries a bite of the flabby patty, he goes fucking nuts.
3, 2, 1, lift off.
And forgets about the Krabby Patty. So many great visual gags and dialogues in this one. There's more to come. When SpongeBob informs Mr. Krabs about this, and the customers hilariously teleport out of the Krusty Krab, he gets the idea to steal the formula as well as Plankton. When SpongeBob tries to convince them to work together, they're still just not trying to hear that. Mr. Krabs and Plankton start competing over the recipe in very funny scenes, man. I just couldn't honestly talk about them. I love them, man. So fucking hilarious. But sticking to recapping the plot here, after those hilarious SpongeBob eventually convinces them and informs the plans. Once they get the formula, Plankton switches up on Mr. Krabs and they start fighting in another really hilarious bit. So fucking funny. So overly stimulated. Just thinking about it gets my dopamine levels high. It's so funny that I can make my heart unleash a certain white substance that I'm not going to mention. Or maybe just die from excitement because it's too peak for my heart to handle. Anyways, this episode ends with the restaurant owner being SpongeBob SquarePants. You know him. You fucking hate him. And the ending is, as well, just so brilliant, man. Because SpongeBob put them through a lot. He had good intentions, but they weren't letting him slide. He just got to get his just desserts, man. And they, in turn, find something to bond over. You know, the perfect ending. Perfect ending. I love it, man. Love this episode stuff.
It's you about teamwork. Get back here!
We should do this more often, Krabs.
So, I will be honest, pretty much everything here is amazing. I fucking adore this episode. I was even crying thinking about it while I was writing the script. It's so peak. It doesn't matter that there's only 3 main characters in it. They still made it so fun. This episode didn't even need more characters, to be honest. Unlike Best Frenemies, which I'll bring up when I'm discussing flaws in this episode. This episode is just about SpongeBob trying to get Plankton and Mr. Krabs to be friends. And obviously some more. But that's like the main premise of it. The Flabby Patty and its success is not the main premise of the episode. I think this works better though. Remembering the episode, if they used to be best friends and, you know, just hating on each other, stuff that they've been up to like during the actual like course of the show, would it really make much sense for them to just like agree to work together just off rip? You know? I mean, the episode does get a pass for being in season 4 and Friend or Foe having yet to come out yet. You know, it's the premiere of season 5, so yeah, even though they're just like close in production, they're just close in production. To me, though, the other Patty has the most natural progression, as it directly references Friend or Foe. Another thing I'd like to bring up is that this season already feels like it just has, like, incredible continuity and, like, with its, like, sequel episodes. But it's actually executed in a proper way here, right? Yeah. It has an impact on the episode, but the reference is not what defines the episode. That's what I like to say. The episode wasn't made just for the nostalgia bait, you know, just the episode with references. You know, it impacts the episode to make it feel like, you know, previous events in the show actually, like, matter, you know? But, you know, like, the references don't define the episode. The episode wasn't just made for the references, you know? I keep saying, you know. Yeah, if that makes sense. Also, this episode, just like Accidents Will Happen, has a fantastic characterization, in my opinion. I think it's actually perfect here. I'd say SpongeBob is smarter here than in pre-movie. You know, he still has his charms, his quirks. Mr. Krabs and Plankton are also reasonably perfect here. There's no reason to complain about how they act and the choices they made, because, like, they all just made sense. Also, I was gushing about how fucking funny some of the story beats were when recapping the episode. I genuinely find the episode a gold mine of peak comedy. Same with Accidents Will Happen. But, you know, this episode's the funnier of the two. So, if I was a fucking idiot, no offense to anyone who has said or done this, you know, I ain't trying to insult them, because people I've seen say that they cool as hell. You know, I would write this episode off as a ripoff of Best Frenemies and even the masterpiece from season 7. But I'm not a fucking idiot. Again, bro, I'm not trying to insult them, because they chill. They chill, bro. I mean, it's also just their opinion, so, like, they're free to have their opinion. Yeah. It will still bother me to see that this episode... What? Sorry about that. It still does bother me when people say that, though. I mean, do we really gotta call them rehashes? You know, even though they have a similar premise, they have way more twist and, like, have a totally different vibe and focus. I, in fact, already said that this episode has the more interesting plot of the 3. Like, if SpongeBob was a serialized show, this episode would have to be a part of that arc, and, like, would fit better, way better than the other 2. By the way, that's a reoccurring theme in season 8, man. That is a very reoccurring theme, where I talk about how this season has the most interesting episodes for a more serialized version of the show. Same with season 4 and 9. I mean, the wide variety of styles, satires, and parodies in this season would just make it perfect for a video game or a movie as well. The actual flaw here is kind of the opposite of the flaw of Accidents Will Happen, as this episode has a mystery that's not actually too obvious from the start. It's that SpongeBob is responsible for the Flabby Patty, but the restaurant is open out of nowhere, so even though it's really hilarious when it's revealed to be SpongeBob, it also just leaves you questioning how he was able to do all of that. So this mystery is just nonsensical. Nonsensical on a surface level analysis, though. If you really think about things, then you could make sense of it. You could say that SpongeBob was thinking about this before the episode. I mean, the episode doesn't seem to contradict that possibility. if there is really anything to fix, I would just like subtly make sense of SpongeBob making the Flabby Patty. And that way, it could still be a mystery that SpongeBob was responsible for it. But if you look back at the episode, it would be so much more clear that SpongeBob was responsible. You know, it could just be some like blink and you'll miss it type moment, but it could work. That's what would make this episode go from a solid watch to a peak watch, honestly. You know, if you could just watch it full circle. You know, if you could watch it again, you know, really understand what this episode was going for. If you could like have a different viewing experience on that second watch. If it was like the intention though, like you can always have a different experience on the second watch, but like if it was intentional for that to be the case was like one major thing, you know, I mean, you're not gonna like notice everything on your first watch. You know, it's always gonna take more than one watch to really like truly understand and successfully analyze the episode. But like on the second watch, if you missed that like major thing, you can probably catch it on the second watch though. The episode as it is probably an 8.7 out of 10 for me. You know, it's subject to change though. I could rank it higher. A lot higher. I also changed the rating of Accidents Will Happen. It's still probably just like a cool episode. But, you know, the episode for me is like an 8.4 out of 10. It had no reason to be as low as it was before. It was a 7.5 out of 10 before. But, like, you know, I do enjoy the episode enough for it to not be in the 7s. You know, I don't know why it wasn't at an 8 before. I mean, luckily it was not a 5 out of 10. I mean, it used to... No, it didn't used to be there. It used to be at a low 7. I don't know, man. We've made it to the end of this video. I admittedly got very lazy and didn't work on the script at all until like last night at the time of this recording. So like, yeah. And that was all in like one night too. That took only like 1 to 2 hours, maybe even less. For like a week or two, I was just not working on this. There's just like a whole list of flaws I have yet to solve. I haven't been able to do much on my part in return the favor. I want to promise to do like all that so badly. Because I have the incentive to do all of that, knowing who I am. No, I kind of fear that I might break all those promises, but I don't have the intent to do so. You know, I don't have any malicious intent. I want to keep all these promises, but it's just not very easy, man. Hey, with all that personal stuff out of the way though, thank you for watching this video. I plan to talk about the entirety of Season 8 and provide some interesting perspectives on every episode. You know, I just want to give this season the recognition it deserves, bro. It's been way too disrespected. I feel like a lot of this season is just so brilliant. Every episode's issues, just that there just needs more put into them, you know? They just wouldn't give enough time, you know? But, you know, the best episodes in the season are not given enough credit for how, like, awesome they are. They're just, like, so incredible. And I hope to really get people to see it. Or, actually, no. I really hope I can influence people's perspectives at least a little bit. You know, I'm not trying to tell you that you should have a different opinion. And, you know, I'm not trying to say that you should have my opinion on this. I'm just trying to, like I said, I'm just trying to give some interesting perspective. Just trying to make you think about the episodes a little differently, you know. It really does bum me out seeing any hate thrown at the season. It really does, man. So I want to do the best I can to prove all the haters wrong. You know, that they're missing out on brilliance, you know. I'm not trying to sound narcissistic, though. I mean, yeah, definitely not. I mean, that's going to kind of negate this entire thing. But yeah, the next video, we'll be talking about the most charming chaos just ever. So remember to stay lit and peace. Ow.